After 60,000 kilometres around Australia in our Triton, we've hit red dirt, corrugations, beautiful beaches and pretty much any condition that you can think of. We've finally learned what actually matters when you build a touring four-wheel drive. Honestly, we've made so many mistakes along the way. In this episode, we're breaking down the modifications we thought we'd nailed, but would 100% do differently if we had our time again. These are not theoretical upgrades, they are real-world lessons from life on the road. If you're starting to build your own touring setup, these lessons that we have learned the hard way will point you in the right direction and help you avoid the mistakes we made early on. Fuel anxiety is absolutely real when doing your lap around Australia. The first mod that we'll do to our next four-wheel drive would be a long-range fuel tank. The 70-litre tank in the Triton just isn't enough when you're touring or towing the Caravan. We think that 140 litres at a minimum would be absolutely perfect to start your adventure around Australia. Not only does it give you more range when towing and exploring this beautiful country, but it also gives you safety and peace of mind when out in remote areas. As a benefit, it gives you access to cheaper and significantly better fuel. We often hear of stories with people saying that they get water in their diesel where they've been forced to stop at fuel stations and fill up with dirty fuel. Weight is your enemy when you're going around Australia. Once you add a couple of passengers to the vehicle, accessories and gear, and then add the Caravan ball weight, more than likely you're going to be very close to your vehicle's GVM. A GVM upgrade doesn't just provide you with a 2-inch lift, it also provides you with more usable and legal payload. A simple 2-inch lift like we've done on our Triton has actually eaten into our payload. For example, the rear leafs are about 50 kilos a side. So if you add that up, it's about 100 kilos that comes out of the payload that doesn't actually provide you any more capacity. For our next vehicle, a GVM upgrade will be one of the best mods that we can do. It gives us peace of mind and gives us assurance that we can actually load up our vehicle as well as put the Caravan on the back and still be within our legal weight limits. Front end protection is vitally important for your four-wheel drive when travelling around Australia. The Ironman bar has been pretty good, however it has got a little bit of erosion on it already. It's only around about 2 years old. The other problem is that it uses the factory bumper as fillers. These fillers get scratched up and have popped out on multiple occasions. For this reason, we would go a full replacement bar next time as opposed to one that's just been bolted on. We like that look where it's a full replacement bar as it makes it look like the bar's supposed to be there. As well as the material, we'd most likely go an aluminium bar next time for weight saving purposes. We'd run an integrated light bar instead of spotlights. The reason for this is solely because of airflow reasons, and we've not actually used the spotties once during our trip around Australia, and that is simply because we just don't drive in the dark. If you're going to hit animals, especially when you're up at the top end of Australia, you're going to be hitting massive kangaroos, cattle or even camels while you're on your travel, so sometimes it's not worth really driving at night time. So versatility and practicality is one of the biggest things you need when you're traveling around Australia, and there's no better way to do that than either an aluminium canopy or service body on the back of your car. Now this is from experience because we had an aluminium canopy previously and now we have a tub and fiberglass canopy setup. I vote that the aluminium canopy is the most practical solution for you touring around Australia. Not only is it super organized, but you also have a kitchen on one side and storage bay on the other. The compressor and four-wheel drive gear has its own little section in one of the underboxes, and you've just got so much more opportunity for storage options. When it comes to weight, the aluminium canopy with everything on there was actually lighter than this current configuration, especially when you factor in the rear bar that we've got on the back of our car also that we needed to run as our factory one had been compromised when we did the swap over. The fiberglass canopy has been extremely frustrating for us. It lets dust in as well as water comes through the windows of the ARB canopy. It's super disorganized. There's no real quick solution for us as we have no GVM left to be able to organize it any better. For our next setup, this would be an absolute priority to have an aluminium canopy on the back of our next car. And that means that yes, we would go for another dual cab again. I don't really like SUVs for touring, and that is just my personal opinion. In terms of a service body, we'd probably go something like a 1400 aluminium canopy / service body, and then have a 200mm tray back as an option for enhanced practicality. So that's absolutely everything that we would do differently if we had to modify another four-wheel drive. Now it doesn't take away from the fact we have a lot of accessories that are absolutely fantastic. We'll run you through them now of exactly the things that we've put on our vehicle that you absolutely need around Australia that have worked extremely well for us. So to start with is the Versatility head unit. It's been brilliant for us because it's helped us tour more efficiently and effectively all around Australia. It gives us tyre pressure monitoring, which is a feature that the Triton didn't have from factory. Obviously, new cars these days have this feature. However, not all of them monitor the Caravan behind you also. We've got the OBD2, which we can monitor our temperatures directly through the head unit. It also gives us wireless Apple CarPlay and also provides us with HEMA maps, which has been vital for traveling, especially when traveling the roads less traveled. The next thing that we've got on our vehicle is a snorkel. Now, if you're going to go off-road anywhere, you need a snorkel. That's as simple as it is. The reason you need a snorkel when you go around Australia is because even some of the national parks and access roads have water over them. Bungle Bungles had a series of deep water crossings when we were there, and we were in the dry season. Some of them even come up over the top of our wheels. On the old telly track, we found that there was a lot of water crossings. If we didn't have the snorkel, we would have definitely had water come into our engine. So we actually went for 17-inch wheels as opposed to 18s. So going as 17-inch wheels allowed us to run slightly bigger tyres. Wanted to ensure that when we deflate the wheels, it gives us a bit more of a contact point with the ground when off-roading. When you're up around the top end, we've also found that 17-inch tyres are actually significantly easier to find. For us, we've used a set of Maxxis tyres on our travels. We've never had one puncture as yet. They've been absolutely fantastic. The only thing that I would say is they do wear out a lot quicker than other tyres I've had in the past. We usually get anywhere between 35 to 40,000 Ks on them before we have to swap them out. The other thing that you need when you're traveling around Australia that we've found that's really useful is the ARB compressor. Now, we were really torn on which one to go for. We was going to either get a TJM or ARB. We ended up going an ARB because one of them popped up on Marketplace and we got extremely lucky. But we've absolutely tortured it whilst we've been away. We use it for blowing out the back of the tub. We also use it for adjusting our air pressures when we need it. It will usually put our air pressures back to 40 within a minute and a half from 20 PSI on each tyre. So it is pretty efficient for a little size compressor. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch our video. We really hope that it has provided value to you if you are looking to set up your vehicle to travel around Australia. We've got a lot of exciting content coming up in the new year. We would love for you guys to join us. So hit that like and subscribe button if you want to see more of us. Have a very safe and happy new year. Thank you so much.